blog or website here. So there's no one, we don't, it's in generic terms, are we talking about the TV station or newspaper or what?
Well, I can tell you this, we're not talking about either one of y'all.
Either one of all. So that would be the cable news network.
It would be
And
anyone
all
that
to-
engaging in, what do you call it, yellow journalism? And
Yeah.
y'all have never done that when we were wrong. Y'all called us out on it. You've never attacked us personally as a vendetta. You've kept us honest, and you've kept us, whatever other word you want to use, but honest is springs to my mind. You fought for everything you feel you need, and we couldn't give it to you. We told you why. And,
But there are other sites that you feel are not, or others are not working with those.
right, those guidelines or parameters or whatever you want to call it, this mean-spirited and vindictive.
Yeah.
So, we respect the freedom of the press. Don't quote me on any of that, but we like it. We like the word out there. We like people to be informed. And what do you? I'm getting a pissing match with somebody on the internet who just have a relationship with y'all and want to keep a good relationship. I know if I mess up, y'all gonna call me out on it. I expect that. I know that y'all aren't gonna make up something untrue. Y'all have someone come and tells you something, you investigate it. If it's true, you print it. If it's not, you don't. You don't just print rumor and innuendo. And we respect that. Except for you. Oh, man. Anything else?
No, just
I'm
Go
going
ahead.
to TV, man, we don't even have to have a pencil.
Oh, right.
Put the camera on.
you can put a tape recorder on.
Okay.
Yeah, but somebody still got to write it down.
No.
Still gotta take it.
Yeah, my
Listen
face
to it
is
later.
only face that print could love, you know.
All right.
Are you ready to rock and roll?
Ready.
Good morning, I'm Larry Hubbard, Eufaula Police Department, and I'll be doing the crime report for the period of May 15th through May 19th, 2014. During this reporting period, we had a total of 10 arrests and investigated 2 accidents. And like I said before, the accidents don't mean those 2 could have come from 10 days ago. It's just those were turned in, finished, and finalized. And the traffic, of course, we always do on Thursdays. On our offense reports, we had recovered property, a switch tag, traffic stop on Dell Road, criminal littering on Deerfield Drive, assault on McRae Avenue, assault on South Eufaula Avenue, assault on South Eufaula Avenue, found recovered property on Kendall Drive. So, I think that's a bicycle. Well, I can't read it because there's nothing on there. But we didn't miss anything on this one. There's nothing on the back. Had theft of property on Highland Avenue. 2 Sony DVD players and a wall protector. Possession of controlled substance and possession of marijuana on Randolph Avenue. Theft of property on Monroe Street, PlayStation 3 and some games. Possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of controlled substance in Eufaula and Fair. Reckless endangerment on South Randolph Avenue. theft of property second on North Eufaula Avenue. Some guns were taken. That's from a business. Arson second degree on School Street. And a juvenile, we had a reckless endangerment, spruce, involving two juveniles. And we had a juvenile witness on domestic violence and theft on Spruce Circle. Our arrest reports, we have Trevor Daniels arrested for leaving the scene of an accident and reckless driving. We have John Reagan arrested for menacing. Weston Culpepper arrested, possession of controlled substance and possession of marijuana second degree. We have Jamil Smith arrested, domestic violence. We have Caitlin Smith arrested, driving while suspended and operating a vehicle without insurance. Those were 2 warrants that were issued. Charles Bagley arrested, possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of a controlled substance. 2 terribly bad for a weekend. Much rather not have anything to report.
I would like for you to do me a favor, if you would. Could you read this chief's statement, and then I will not use what we had at the first? Or do you not want to? And I understand.
No, if you want me to, I will.
Yes.
You can probably find somebody that can read better. All right, this is from Chief Ralph Connor to the news media, and it's titled "An Open Letter to the Eufaula Community from the Police Chief." Over the past few months, Eufaula has been hit by a wave of malicious claims and rumors via internet blog sites. The bloggers, whose motives we can only guess, have indiscriminately attacked both groups and individuals in the private and public sectors. The Eufaula Police Department and I personally have not been spared by this circus. While the blogs mock reality, we must defend freedom of speech, even when it's inept. Eufaula is a wonderful city in all sectors, seeking to grow through the unity of all of its citizens, especially in the recruitment of new jobs and the preservation of accomplishments. The blogs in question, on the other hand, strive to create the hatred and division of bigotry. The police department does not condone any form of hatred, including inappropriate blog comments claiming to support us. While commenting on this may effectively increase the notoriety of a negative issue, we also cannot remain idle because of the potential for danger it creates. This potential exists in 2 primary areas. First, mistrust and division is being fueled between people and cultures. In reality, one of Eufaula's strengths as a small town is its diversity of people and culture, and we must guard against any virus that suggests otherwise. Second, because of the mistrust and confusion these bloggers perpetrate or perpetuate, someone in need of help from Eufaula Police Department may not seek it or know where to turn. In that regard, it is important for every member of the community to look out for the welfare of every other member. Help others where you can and help us perform our job of protecting the community. Part of that job is ensuring the community knows where we stand. We are committed to high standards of integrity and service to everyone in the community. We will not condone any form of discrimination or acts of hatred by our members or within the community. We strive to be well-trained, equipped, and effective in protecting our community without any form of favoritism while adhering to the law and procedure and proper procedures, both of which we constantly train at. We will never turn our back on anyone needing help, including those who are irresponsibly engaged in yellow journalism, because we must protect the privacy rights of the public we serve. Whether victim or arrestee, we are limited in our ability to release detailed information regarding incidents or offenses, even in the face of blogs which pretend details are ludicrous theories. Whatever member of the Eufaula Police Department believes in this matter is their absolute need to remain professional, fair, ethical, and moral while being accountable to every part of our diverse community. What we ask of our community in return is to help us protect Eufaula from those who seek to harm it. Examine the information you receive from internet resources for its accuracy, and do not hesitate to contact us if you need our assistance or the clarification of any matter in which you have interacted with you. Signed, Chief Ralph Connors.
Thank you.
So the news posted on the Barber County Reporter, the allegations and things of that nature written by Pelham and Carroll, are those valid?
I'm not going to go into any specific reference to any blog or anybody's rumor mill or anything else. If you have a specific question about a specific incident, I will answer it to the best of my ability. Sorry. I want to. I can't. And I won't. But
I want to go off the record for a minute because something happened over the weekend, didn't involve you.
Thank
Didn't
God.
involve the park.
praise Allah.
Not directly. Henry Franklin does a show for me on Sunday mornings, has for years. Sunday morning, he was going to go on a rampage against the department, the chief, the Tribune, and several other things that I found out about between Friday and Saturday from him. I was prepared to pull the switch if he started. Ironically, his equipment wouldn't work. So
Come on.
it had nothing to do.
Well, good.
We're good. Come on in.
I intentionally did not reference a site or an individual. I think there certainly is one site that's predominantly causing this hatred, but there's also individuals commenting on the site. To my understanding, even the person that runs the site comments on his own post. That's the information I have now. I have no verification of that, so again, I don't want to engage in the rumors. That's been said. I don't know if it's true or not. But there are a lot of people that are commenting. I do know in a couple of cases, a couple of recent cases, the comments are listed as a person's name or identity. It's not that person. But I don't want to get into specifics. I don't want to dignify the individualism of someone who is masquerading as a source of news or truth. It's not. I do want the public to know that there's just a lot of information out there that is grossly incorrect. It's trying to divide people from each other, the community from the police department, and in the regard of doing what's right, doing what's fair, doing what's ethical, doing what supports equal opportunity and anti-discrimination. We're on the same side. There's not police department against community or police department against a culture and ethnicity, a preference of some kind. We're on the same side. There are people out there that are trying to gain credibility, and some people have listened to them that are not on the same side, but they're portraying themselves as that. And that's dangerous, because we do have some cases where people that may have needed help don't know where to turn for not knowing who should they trust, who should they not trust. But as the letter states, we do want to be fair and ethical in every case. I've never asked that people take my side or the police department's side. What I ask is that people look at the facts, take an honest side. If we're on that side, then we're on your side. If we're not, then we need to be held accountable. That's all I've ever said. And I believe in that. Of course, knowing that I'm on the side of accountability and doing the right thing. We have a meeting coming up at St. John's AME Church Tuesday night, this Tuesday at 6. We're going to get there a little early in case some people would like to meet us one-on-one. I want people to know us, to know me personally. They'll find out that there are no differences, and I don't consider physical description, ethnicity. That's not a difference to me. I look at people. I look at character, and that's pretty much where it stops. And I think there's a lot of fine people of great character, but there's also a lot of people of poor character, in this case, in the case of these internet blogs. And there's people of criminal character, of all ethnicities, of all cultures, of all economics. And if we take an action against someone, we do it fair, in accordance with the law, and without judging that person. There's been references made to the recent arrest of a high-profile individual, a commissioner. As I told you, Mr. Trainer, the law, and we consider that person innocent until proven guilty, like anyone else. He gets fair treatment. He has chosen to go out on a media site or a website and state his case. That's his right. I don't criticize him for that. And our job is not to put us against him. Our job is to ensure that everyone is safe, including him, and that everyone has a fair treatment in every case, including him. And that's for the courts to decide. You know, our job is to follow protocol and procedure in making various cases or arrests or contacts. There may be some part of the process or procedure that is either misunderstood or someone doesn't want to understand. That's for the individual to decide. But we are addressing every case that we make professionally and fairly, without regard to any preferential treatment to give someone a favor or to not give someone a favor. We're just doing what policy and procedure and law requires us to do and states that we should do, and that's what we do. The letter that I wrote, Ron, I realize because you're a video broadcast, the reason I came back early, if you want me to read that, I'll be glad to read it.
I just hadn't started to do it.
Well, I'm sure he did a good job, but he's not as handsome as me.
Yeah, I know, but we live with it. But if you want to reread it, that'd be fine.
It's up to you, but I did want to make sure that it was available. I was hoping that it's printed in the paper in its entirety. I know it's not a short letter, but it covers some very important things, and I want people to know where we stand. We're not trying to undermine anyone. If someone wants to have their blog site or and they're out there, you know, there is freedom of speech. We allow that. Well, I mean, we don't. It's not up to us to allow. It's constitutional freedom. We support the Constitution. We support someone's freedom of speech, even if we're the target. But where it crosses a line, people are accountable for that. If it gets pretty vile and hasn't crossed that line, all we can do is know that it exists, but people do need to understand the truth, understand that in law enforcement and in government services, we have to respect people's privacy. There's only certain things we can say about a case. You'll notice that the crime reports that are read every week, they're pretty generic as to what is put out. We can't, divulge the specifics of an incident because that person still has their day in court. Whether it's if either of you got arrested, if I got arrested, if a commissioner gets arrested or anyone else, that person has their day in court. We can't get on the press ahead of time and say, let's make the case against him right now so that when he goes to court, there's already prejudice against that in a decision. We have to be pretty generic, but that creates a void of information, and in that void, in this case, not that specific case, but with these blogs, people are shoveling, and I don't say people in general are very good, but there's a very small percentage of people that are shoveling trash into that void, and it's getting where it's going to create problems for the safety of people, if not the economics of this town. This is a great town. There's a lot of good people across the board, culturally, economically, ethnically. However, there's some great people here, and if not, I'll say all but a small portion of people. The person that controls these blogs, he may be a great person in some ways. I don't know. All I'm seeing is this one side of him. Again, if he ever needed help, or anyone that participated and needed help, we're not going to refuse to ever help someone like that, or ever treat them wrong. We're going to do everything we can for that person. But that's, I guess, the original question: why have we not mentioned a specific person or site? I don't think it'd be professional to dignify it. you know, it's out there, and in one regard, if the press release or the letter offends anyone, then it can only be because they've identified with the charges in it, with the guilt. You're not offended. I'm assuming Mr. Cassidy's not offended. If you are, then let's get it on record right here on the video. But I'm saying it's.
I've heard the comments, some of the comments characterized as hate speech. And we're using ethnic, references to ethnic
Sure.
stereotypes and things of that nature that do seem to be fueling.
Well, they are, and I guess in contrast or in fairness, it comes from purportedly from both sides. I don't know if it's the same person doing that or what, but there's been some comments, and we don't dwell on them, but if we get a report of something, we need to be aware of things in case they affect public safety. There's been some comments that are purported to support me personally or the police department, but they're racist. They don't support me. That's as ignorant as the other comments. I don't want someone supporting me with racism or cries of us against them. It's not. We want to be fair to everyone and on the right side of things. And again, if look at the truth of things, and if we're on that side, that's great, and that's where we always
So if I
strive
hear
to
you
be.
right, you're saying that you file a tribute, you're not saying you file a tribute that misreporting the news from the police department?
You are correct. I have not seen any really in the mainstream media. This is not an issue. There's always going to be differences of opinions here and there, but it's that's a fair professional exchange that we've always had, whether it's the media here, Dothan, Columbus. Columbus is a good example. You have a couple of TV stations up there. In contrast, they're reporting. One is more of a liberal slant, one is more of a conservative slant. They're both reporting their take of the news, their honest take. They're not manufacturing details. That's probably the main importance. A lot of details that these blogs are dealing with are just outright false, and they're being manufactured. So, no, the Tribune is not suspect, nor is the Dothan. Is it Eagle, your parent company?
Sister publication.
But we're all accountable, for the future. It's also not a free pass. Okay, you said we're good, let's go out there and start doing all these things. We're accountable every day for what we do, and that's true in our industry. Well, it's true in every industry that serves the public, and we are a public service. Y'all are a commercial service, but you serve the public, and you're accountable.
One of the things I've got a question about that you mentioned, the Tuesday night meeting. To the best of your knowledge, who called that meeting?
I don't know where it originated. I actually found out about it myself. I think it was released, I'm told, to the media, whoever I'm not sure where it was released, but someone saw a post on Facebook saying that there's a meeting going to be with myself and the mayor Tuesday night at 6 p.m. And they sent it to me, and I said, that's the first I've heard of it. I don't know that it was anything, I'm sure it was not anything malicious. I think it's probably more of a scheduling type thing where someone who thought they were talking for the city helped set it up before contacting us. It's kind of like booking a concert before seeing if the band's around. But the band is around this time. We're glad to do it. It's a good opportunity for us to reach out to the community.
This is yourself and the mayor?
Myself and the mayor. I just don't want it couched or represented as we're going there to exonerate ourselves. There are a lot of people that are already believing things that are out there because of misinformation. Some people say if there's smoke, there's fire. There's a lot of smoke here. There's no fire from the information that's out there. So in one regard, we are going there to probably defend ourselves in the mind of some people. There are some people that have already thought, wow, how could this be? Why would these policies exist? Why would this person be there? And I just hope that people don't prejudge us. I guess the word prejudice, I don't know if the actual root is prejudging, but any more than they would want to be prejudged, whether it's cultural, ethnic, whatever. Look at the truth, look at the facts. Both of you guys have had a little more opportunity to know me as a person just through interaction with the media, and you can read through them a little bit more because you have seen me. You know, I've got a pretty extensive background in the military, which, as an officer, and you don't exist in that culture if any bit of this is in any regard true, because you wouldn't have the security clearances, the assignments that would allow you to continue through retirement, which I did. And I retired at the grade of commander in the Coast Guard, same as lieutenant colonel in the Army, Marine Corps, and Air Force, which is an 05 rating. So it's you would not get there if any of this is true. And my military career was parallel to the law enforcement career. I've done active duty and reserve time as a military officer, and a lot of that was while I was employed as a law enforcement officer. 20 years as a federal law enforcement officer. You don't get hired in that position and continue in that position with the security clearances that are required or the background that would be required to get in that. And again, the security clearances are an important point, especially for the military. The level of security clearance that I've maintained through retirement, background investigations are far more extensive than any job I've ever applied for. They actually, most jobs go back so many years. Some security clearances, depending on the level, go back to where were you born and who were your neighbors.
And that clearance, you have secret, top secret?
In the military, I held a top secret. In the civilian side, which is an oddity of the federal government, because the military is U.S. Coast Guard, which is part of Homeland Security. As an agent for U.S. Customs, which became ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, that's also Homeland Security. With them, I held a secret clearance. And they were individual clearances. No agency adopts the other's clearance, so you actually would have parallel investigations and accountability running. And with a secret, or with a top secret clearance, every 5 years it's reinvestigated. It's not like you get it and then, okay, good to go. You get it every 5 years.
On the meeting Tuesday night, is it a public meeting? Who's invited, or do you know?
It's been put out as open to the public. I do think there's limited seating. That's controlled by the church. They want to make sure that they have a safe and orderly meeting. And the pastor out there, we're the, and I hope I said his name right. I really just met him in person last week. I did meet him when I first came into town, but it was a very quick hi, how do you do? But we actually sat down with him for a while in a meeting last week. But I know he wants to have an orderly event that tries to bring some growth. And that's what we told him. If we can have a meeting that is positive, that's great. If it's something that's, people are there, say I'm assuming some of the people from the blog sites may show up. If it turns into something negative, that's not good. It needs to be something that's done to help the community move forward. If there's some understanding that needs to be obtained, I'm all for it. But we want people to understand and know who I am, who the police officers are.
I want to make sure I have that date and time right. It's Tuesday night at AME Church.
6 p.m. is the meeting.
6 p.m. meeting. And you said you would
Again,
arrive
we'll get
early.
there early. We'll be there sometime after
Right.
5.
And that church is located on?
It's on Dale Road.
On Dale Road.
I don't know the address, but it's on Dale Road, here in Eufaula.
One additional question had nothing to do with this, and I meant to ask Sergeant Hubbard the question and forgot it. There was a demonstration here on Saturday in front of the police department. Was that a permitted demonstration?
There was a permitted event.
Okay.
Miss Rachel Smith asked for a permit to have a prayer group. And she looked at a couple of different sites. The first 2 sites she looked at, they weren't. The first one wasn't the city's to grant approval or deny it. It was the courthouse. That belongs to the county. The second one was the gazebo across the street from the courthouse. She actually would have needed to ask the appropriate department head for that. That's controlled by the horticulture department. But when she asked, okay, can we have it at the police department? Sure, that's my department. We control that. And we said absolutely. We discussed with her as to what part of the building they could use for safety, which is the front part between the sidewalks and between the building and the street, basically. Even called her and said, we want to make sure you know that the restrooms will be open. There's cold water drinking fountain there. Can we do anything else for you? And you know, again, it's a prayer group. I don't know if there was any bit of a protest involved. I didn't attend it. Doesn't matter. It's something that she asked for. She has the right to, and we try to facilitate to make sure that she's safe. She did ask a question if more people showed up than is on the permit. The permit said 25 people. Would that be an issue? I said absolutely not, as long as they don't get into the street and cause a safety problem for themselves or any motorists or block services to the building where the dispatcher's coming and going from work. Sure, even if we don't, I mean, I don't know the specifics of her prayer or whether it was a protest. If it's something that we would be part of or not part of as a political agenda, doesn't matter. It's something that if someone has the right to do, we want to make sure that they get that right and that it's done safely. So, and I think it was Saturday from 1 to 4.
Yes.
Going that long?
It was going at 1 and it was going at about 15 till 2. That's what I can tell you. I just drove by. I didn't shoot any footage.
And I mean, I even, on the phone, I didn't see her in person. I said, you know, wish you a successful event. She said thank you, and it's a very polite conversation. That's all that matters.
It's like 7 to 9 folks. By
Yeah.
my count.
That's the same I got.